My dad's favorite fighter growing up is Mike Tyson. My dad cries when I told him about this opportunity.
Jake Paul's dad has demanded for the Mike Tyson fight to be canceled. Recently, Jake Paul shared that his father broke down in tears when he announced he'd be stepping into the ring with former heavyweight champion Mike Tyson when asked at a recent press conference why he's fighting Tyson. Paul replied, making history. "This is what it's all about for me, man. I'm a kid from Ohio. They'll never give me credit. That's the way it is. If I was walking on water, they would say it's because I couldn't swim. And this is to make history. The people think I'm going to get knocked out by this strong, powerful guy." The 27-year-old fighter is nearing the end of his training camp as he prepares for his upcoming bout. Paul, who first entered the boxing scene in 2020, has since carved out a reputation in the sport. Despite his relatively short career, the American has claimed victories over notable opponents such as Tyrone Woodley Anderson, Silva, and Nate Diaz, boasting a 10-1 record. His sole loss came by decision against Tommy Fury last year. Jake Paul, famously known as the problem child, has made a name for himself by taking on MMA fighters inside the boxing ring. However, his upcoming clash with Tyson presents an entirely new challenge. Iron Mike, who last stepped into the professional ring in 2005 after a loss to Kevin McBride, hasn't competed at that level since. Still, the legendary boxer did participate in an exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. just 4 years ago, showing he's not entirely removed from the sport. Tyson is hailed as one of the greatest heavyweights in history, but concerns for his well-being have grown as he prepares to face an opponent 31 years his junior. Jake added, "All the people in my comments say look at his power, he's going to get co-ed. This has taken a chance to fight somebody as vicious as Mike can be. You got to risk it for the biscuit. That's the name of the game." Thrilled at the chance to face a boxing icon, the problem child could hardly contain his excitement, but the news struck a very different chord with his father Greg, who was moved to tears upon learning his son would be stepping into the ring with Tyson. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, Jake Paul expressed that his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson was an honor and a win-win situation for him. He mentioned that he found it hard to believe as Mike Tyson was his father's favorite fighter while growing up, and his dad had even cried when he shared the news of the opportunity. Paul also described the event as surreal and iconic, highlighting the significance of the co-main event between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. He pointed out that they were bringing women's boxing to one of the most viewed events ever, which he considered a great success. However, he acknowledged that as he continued to climb higher in his career, there would be more critics, but he accepted this as part of human nature.
It's an honor. It's a win-win. I can't believe it. My dad's favorite fighter growing up is Mike Tyson. My dad cries when I told him about this opportunity. To me, it's surreal and it's an iconic moment. And the co-main event is Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. We're putting women's boxing in the most viewed event ever, and all around it's a win. But obviously, when you're climbing to the top of the ladder, the windier it gets. So there's going to be more critics, but that's the nature of humans, and it is what it is.
The problem child has watched hours of tape to study Tyson's previous fights and believes he will try to trap me on the ropes and then get blows off to angles on each side. When asked what his tactics will be, Paul replied, "To just box on the outside and then use my footwork to be more agile and get him chasing me and then attack him when he's out of position. That should frustrate him." Jake Paul has revealed in a surprising twist that he's been training with fighters weighing 300 lb as part of his intense preparation to take on former heavyweight world champion Mike Tyson. As the fight approaches, Paul has made a startling revelation. The influencer admitted that in preparation for his face-off with Iron Mike, he's been sparring with giants, tipping the scales at 300 lb. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, he said, "It's been going amazing, intense camp. I'm sparring 300 lb guys back to back, so my body is aching, my bones are sore, they punch a lot harder, and just wrestling with them in the ring and sparring is very difficult, but on November 15th, I'm going to be prepared. We've trained hard to make the fight easy in the months leading up to the originally scheduled date this year." The 27-year-old found himself weighing in at 230 lb, a significant shift from his typical weight. On his podcast in May, he remarked, "Normally I'm fighting at 200 and walking around at 210. It's weird to me that I'm weighing 230. He even entertained the idea of packing on muscle to reach 240 lbs while preparing for the upcoming match. However, this time around, he aims to step into the ring a bit lighter before next month's heavyweight showdown. In a recent conversation with The Hollywood Reporter about his weight, Paul shared that he's currently sitting at around 216 lb and expects to weigh in at 220 on fight day. He owned up to the expectation that his rival would carry more weight. Tyson will probably be 235. He admitted the problem child has closely studied Tyson's past bouts, predicting that his opponent will attempt to trap him before their anticipated battle next month. Boxing superstar Mike Tyson has not responded to Jake Paul's $5 million offer earlier this month. The problem child grabbed attention with a bold proposition for Tyson, a jaw-dropping $5 million if he can Last through the fourth round of their upcoming fight in a TikTok video posted on his betting platform, Beater Paul is seen reclining shirtless on a couch, playfully stacking cash on his faux belly. Mikey, if you can last more than 4 rounds with me, I'll give you an extra $5 million to social. Media Star declared the 27-year-old American prodigy presented an intriguing proposal. Should Tyson not make it past the 4th round, he'll be forced to carry a lasting symbol of his loss to the rising star, he added, but if you don't, then you have to get a tattoo that says, "I love Jake Paul, deal or no deal." During a recent interview with Sports Illustrated, Paul was questioned concerning the bet, and if Tyson had responded to the pitch that could have changed the game, he said, "I think I TAO or KO him in rounds 4 or 5, but yeah, he hasn't responded to the bet, and I don't think he probably will. I think he's locked in war mode since the fight was officially announced." Paul has been relentless in his mockery of his rival. Last month, he even posted a video of himself pretending to lift weights while sporting a comically oversized fat suit. While Paul seems to revel in these jabs at his boxing opponent, Tyson remains convinced that the young influencer is fully committed to the upcoming showdown. Speaking at a press event when quizzed about Paul's fat jabs, the seasoned boxer commented, "I think he's taking it very seriously because his health depends on it. I'm not looking past him. I'm not taking it lightly at all." Tyson highlighted the intensity of his training routine leading up to their matchup in a chat with Jimmy Iron Mike. Confidently claimed that he's dedicating 6 hours each day to the gym. "Despite the doubts of naysayers, I'm training extremely hard. I do 6 hours a day. I start at 11 a.m. and might leave the gym at 5 p.m. Tyson claimed a surprised Kimmel inquired, "Oh no, 11 a.m. So that's 6 hours straight, or is there a lunch break?" The ex-champ conceded there was a brief interlude, leaving Kimmel astonished as he exclaimed, "Oh no." In the same interview, Tyson was asked about his upcoming fight with Paul and whether he planned to be high. During his response, "I'm going to be so high off life." Yeah, when Kimmel probed further, asking if he would be high on marijuana, Tyson admitted that's a possibility too, to which Kimmel humorously responded, "Oh no, my bet is getting lower as we talk." Meanwhile, Roy Jones Jr. has revealed his eagerness to get into shape for a possible clash with Jake Paul if he needs to step in for Mike Tyson. The 55-year-old boxing legend made his intentions clear after the original date for the much-anticipated bout between Paul and Tyson was postponed. "I'm kind of thinking about that. I might try and get into shape in case that happens. Maybe I get myself in shape for that," Jones admitted to Betway earlier this year regarding the possibility of fighting Paul. He added, "I never thought about doing it before, but with the situation of the fight, I think that's a great idea, and I'll be ready and in shape, because if the fight doesn't happen, then the ideal guy to substitute in place of Mike Tyson to fight Jake Paul is something I have been thinking about. If the fight is out there, then yes." Though he hung up his boxing gloves 6 years ago, Jones found himself unable to resist the allure of a comeback, stepping back into the ring last September for a match against former UFC champion Anthony Pettis. The bout ended in a points loss, but it reignited his passion for the sport. Jones also addressed the speculations surrounding a potential showdown with Tommy Fury, a rival of Jake Paul, and shared his excitement about the possibility of facing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He said, "There was obviously the Tommy Fury thing that came up, and then the other day somebody asked me whether I would fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in an exhibition, and that's crazy," as he contemplated the highly publicized potential bout. Jones admitted he struggles to see Paul emerging victorious against Tyson, labeling the latter as possibly overwhelming for the influencer turned boxer. Chatting with Fight Hype, Jones delineated his thoughts. "It's a young lion and an old lion. It's a great situation for them. It gives Jake a chance. With Mike being as old as he is, I think it's a great opportunity for both fighters, but I still think Mike is going to be a little bit too much for Jake, although Jones is keen." Sources indicate that Tyson is now in top form and prepared to take on Paul. Earlier this year, Tyson experienced a health scare when a severe ulcer flare-up caused dizziness during his trip from Miami to Los Angeles in May. However, he has since made a full recovery. When paramedics arrived at LAX to treat Tyson, they verified the event and gave him the assurance that his condition was stable. Tyson disclosed to Mail Online the cause of his health scare: "I was doing too much bad food and stuff, and I got sick on fight night. As per the latest reports, the regulations will appear a little differently. This change comes on the heels of TDLR approving 2 rule modifications proposed by promoter Bryce Holden. For the first time in the Lone Star State, the competition will utilize 14 Oz gloves instead of the traditional 10 Oz ones. That's in line with a recent USA Today report. Moreover, the 8 rounds have been reduced from 3 minutes to 2 minutes each to create more action, although requests to shorten rounds in men's contests aren't unprecedented. TDLR representatives described this decision as rare. "It will take the sting off a little bit," said pro boxer Nick Ali Walsh, who is also the grandson of Muhammad Ali. He added, "And I believe the glove size is there just as a precaution. Since Mike is older than people that are fighting professionally, he shouldn't be fighting in professionally sized gloves." The combination of the 2-minute rounds and the 14-0 gloves made this fight possible. "I don't think any sanctioning body would allow the fight to happen with Mike if they were 10-0 gloves and 3-minute rounds." Renowned boxing icon Oscar De La Hoya has expressed his concerns regarding Tyson's safety in This highly anticipated match, admitting that he feels a bit anxious for Aaron Mike should the bout extend beyond the third round, despite being away from the professional boxing scene since his defeat to Kevin McBride in 2005 and having participated in an exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. just 4 years ago. Tyson is gearing up for a comeback after withdrawing from a planned fight in July due to an ulcer. He's now back in training, expressing his eagerness to once again enter the ring with the fight drawing near. Chatter is swirling, and Oscar De La Hoya has shared his apprehensions regarding Tyson's chances against the younger Paul in a recent episode of the Club Eshiche podcast. Come on, I saw him the other day, De La Hoya remarked. He further added, I love Tyson, he's got a puncher's chance in the first 3 rounds. I'm a little scared of Tyson getting hurt after the third round. Jake Paul's a big boy. He's 27 years old. Tyson's 58. I'm happy for him that he's making money, that he still loves it. He's getting in there and he's in shape, but just be careful. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan and his panel of guests have shared their insights on what they consider the perfect resolution for the impending showdown in episode #163 of the JRE MMA show. Rogan convened with former fighters Den Thomas, John Rowe, and Matt Serra to delve into the eagerly awaited bout between Iron Mike and the Problem Child. Throughout their discussion, Rogan expressed his concerns for Tyson's health, candidly pondering how the boxing icon might be feeling as he prepares to face Paul. At this point in his career, the Bellator FC legend observed that Tyson seemed to truly revel in the excitement of promoting the fights, creating a positive atmosphere for him. If he were to lose, many would likely chalk it up to his age. However, a triumph over Paul would greatly bolster his legacy. Rogan shared his perspective, asserting that Tyson remains a significant threat in the ring. He noted that at his core, Mike Tyson is a monster, and if Tyson could successfully close the gap and deliver a powerful combination to Jake Paul, it would probably leave Paul staggering. Rogan concluded by saying that witnessing such a moment would be extraordinary. Joe Rogan elaborated, suggesting that the ideal scenario would involve Jake Paul swiftly recognizing the formidable presence of Mike Tyson in the ring. He anticipated that at least during the initial rounds, Paul would come to grasp the TR essence of Tyson's prowess. This sentiment resonated deeply with the MMA veterans present, who echoed his.
To watch a 58-year-old Mike, that would be best case scenario for the world. I agree.
For sure.
Worst case scenario is someone gets hurt.
Yeah, best case scenario for the world is that he knocks Jake Paul out.
Yeah, best case scenario is Jake Paul realizes immediately he's in there with Mike Tyson. That Mike Tyson, at least for a round or two,
first time he gets cracked.
This clash is undeniably one of the most enthralling in the annals of professional boxing. It prompts us to consider the methods by which the baddest man on the planet might achieve a knockout over his opponent. Thankfully, Rogan has some intriguing insights on this as the discussion deepened. Rogan highlighted Tyson's potential to deliver a knockout blow to Paul, stressing that if Paul misstepped zigging when he should have zagged and Tyson seized the opportunity to close the gap, a knockout could be imminent. However, Rogan didn't shy away from acknowledging the considerable hurdles Tyson faced. He underscored Tyson's extensive experience, suggesting that the layers of strategies embedded in Tyson's psyche far surpassed anything Jake Paul had ever grasped. In fact, he remarked that Tyson had probably forgotten more about the sport than Paul would ever know.
Mike Tyson, people talk to. People are there's certain people that are just crazy, man.
Well, these people that think that he don't stand a chance against Jake Paul, that are like, this shouldn't even like because he's too old. I was like, I think you're crazy.
Well, they're definitely uninformed.
Yeah,
because here's the thing: he is 57 years old. He will be 58 when they fight. He has had a long fighting career. He has been knocked out by massive men like Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. You know, he's had a lot of blows, and he's also doing this very unique kind of training with electrical muscular stimulation. That I've talked to some people that do that, and it has massive benefits of rehabilitating injuries.
Nonetheless, the JRE host recognized Paul's formidable fighting prowess. He could only hope that the Problem Child wouldn't manage to take Tyson down. Witnessing the legendary boxer suffer defeat at 58 would be a truly heartbreaking tale for Rogan, and countless loyal fans of Iron Mike would undoubtedly feel that same sting of disappointment as Tyson prepares to face Paul in their much-anticipated clash in Dallas. He'll enter the ring a remarkable 31 years older than his opponent. This significant age difference has raised eyebrows among fight fans worldwide, especially regarding the legendary icon's readiness. Yet Tyson Fury, the namesake of the F-named boxer, exudes confidence, insisting that he will astonish onlookers and teach the Problem Child a thing or two. He said, listen, if Mike Tyson hits anybody, I don't care if he's 90, he's going to knock them out cold. Isn't he? Obviously, I have to back Mike Tyson. I'm named after the legend, and I'll back him as he always backs me. I'm backing Mike for the knockout. Come on, Mike. Fight fans around the globe are puzzled over Tyson's decision to risk his health by Stepping into the ring against the formidable Paul, especially as he approaches retirement age, this raises the question, why is Tyson at this stage in his career willing to take such a dangerous fight? The baddest man on the planet said, "I'm a glory junkie. I love people thinking about me all day. I'd rather live a short life of glory than a long life of obscurity. It's just who I am. This is all I started fighting for, to get all this status in light of this." Deontay Wilder, the ex-WBC champion, has voiced apprehensions that the outcome could be disastrous for Tyson with an impressive record of 43 wins and only 1 loss. Wilder argues that Tyson may be too old to go up against a younger fighter like Paul. He expressed significant concerns regarding Tyson's safety in the forthcoming bout. Wilder said, "I think it's bad the commission has licensed Mike Tyson because he hasn't been active in 20 years, so they should not just license him because of who he is. That's how people get hurt. God forbid he gets hurt. People can get hit in the wrong place and at the wrong time. There's lots of examples where guys have been hit into a coma. It's easy to do. He's too old for this." The heated bout ignited by worries about Tyson's age, health, and infrequent ring appearances marks just the 4th time that 27-year-old Paul has gone up against a conventional boxer. His earlier adversaries have largely been retired MMA fighters, a fellow YouTuber, and a basketball player. Notably, 4 of the MMA fighters he encountered have weighed in with their predictions on the outcome of the Tyson match. Nate Diaz said, "I like it. I think it's cool. I think Mike Tyson all the way." Ben Isran predicted that while Mike Tyson would likely retain his power, the challenges of being 58 years old would play a significant role in the fight. He suggested that Tyson would need to catch Jake Paul with a strong hit, but noted that factors like stamina and overall ability tend to decline with age, especially when someone hasn't been competing actively for a long time. Isran expected the fight to be competitive at first, but believed Tyson would eventually tire. He described the situation as a lose-lose scenario, as Tyson is beloved by many, and beating a 58-year-old who hasn't competed in 2 decades would draw criticism. Mike Tyson carved his name in the annals of boxing history, boasting an impressive record of 50 wins against only 6 losses, solidifying his status as one of the greatest American boxers ever. Meanwhile, Jake Paul has opted to step back from the social media spotlight to focus intently on his boxing journey. Driven by a fierce determination to go professional, he has boldly issued a challenge to the legendary Tyson, inviting him to square off in the ring this year. The clash between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has boxing fans buzzing with anticipation and intrigue. Although Paul has a 30-year age advantage, Tyson's extensive experience and his status as one of the sports legends create a formidable obstacle. Many analysts lean towards Paul, Pennsylvania, highlighting his youthful agility as a possible edge in the ring. While Tyson's legacy is impressive and well-established, it's uncertain whether he can summon the same sharpness that defined his prime years.
People who are out there saying, "We think Mike's too old for this fight." Tell them what you think about that.
If you think I'm too old for this fight, you need to come tell me in my face.
Whoa.
I love you, Mike.
Same.
And I'm very nervous for you. And I care about my brother. And I know the path he's on right now. And it's ruthless. You got to take him serious, Mike.
I take him extremely serious. These people don't take him serious. This is what I learned through my 58 years of experience. Anyone's capable of killing you. So you should be apprehensive for anyone.
Boxers and analysts have weighed in with their predictions, but a former rival of Jake Paul has now added his voice to the conversation. Reports suggest that the fight could be abruptly canceled if Tyson does not pass his medical evaluations. However, Iron Mike has remained steadfast in his commitment to face Jake Paul this November. Recently, former heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua shared his perspective on the upcoming bout during interview with Jonathan Ross, labeling it a promising advancement of the sport. Joshua expressed that he personally thought it was a good thing, though he acknowledged that boxing fanatics might not feel the same way. He explained that traditionalists in the sport might view it as disrespectful, since the usual path involves going through an Olympic system and progressing through the professional ranks. In contrast, someone with a high profile could bypass these steps and immediately face top fighters, which could be a source of frustration for dedicated fans of the sport. Joshua added that if the crowd were divided, with half being hardcore boxing fans and the other half supporting a popular figure like a YouTuber, the latter group would still benefit the sport. He explained that such personalities bring new audiences into boxing, which ultimately helps everyone involved. Despite boxing being a tough sport, the increased viewership is beneficial, and for that reason he viewed it as a positive for the exposure it brings.
Think of this trend at the moment of YouTubers entering the world of boxing, because Jake Paul's about to fight Mike Tyson, isn't he?
Yes.
What do you think about this trend?
I personally think it's really good. I think that the boxing hardcores, like the boxing fanatics, they don't like it because it's like, why are they disrespecting our sport? There's an Olympic system that you have to go through, and once you're qualified there, then you go through to the professional ranks. Whereas someone with a profile can just come out of nowhere and fight one of the best guys. Let's say we divided this crowd in half, and you've got half of the people that are hardcore boxing fans and half of the people that love a certain person that's into YouTube.
Like a YouTuber, yeah.
But that person brings all of these people into boxing, which benefits everyone else that's
Because
involved.
some of
in
them
the
might
industry.
stay not just for that match. They
Yeah.
might get into the sport.
And it's a tough game, so everyone viewing helps. So I think it's really good for people that need like some exposure.
Then, sensing that Tyson would be impacted by age, he anticipated the bout and sided with the younger man, expecting the latter to come out on top. Joshua expressed concern about the impact of age, noting that Father Time is undefeated. He emphasized that Tyson is older now, and his main hope was that Tyson would emerge from the fight in good health. Joshua predicted that Jake Paul would likely win, attributing it to Paul's youth, which he saw as the key factor in the outcome. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.